What I want to talk to you guys about is the idea of revelations. Now, revelations is is a part of the Bible. The last the last part part of the Bible that people believe is a sign that the is, and the fact that a lot of that according to some people, a lot of the stuff that has been happening in the Bible, that the Bible mentioned would happen is happening today. Is happening today, which doesn't convince me that this stuff is actually legit. To be honest with you, man, I have to say this story is a bit fishy. Now, let me get to the reasons why. Because you have to realize something. The modern day Bible, you know who as I'm sure, as everybody's familiar with, who knows about the Bible, you always hear this name King James. And probably just about every little kid used to wonder, who is this King James? Was he either like the King of England or something? Like who is King James? You know, I used to wonder the same thing as I was a child. But later, as I grew up, I realized he was a monarch in like Britain. I guess you could say that's true. You know, and he was apparently a Mason, a Freemason. Now, I don't know about you, but for somebody who you guys are fighting against, does it kind of seem a bit odd, especially for someone who came from a posh background in the past, not to say he didn't have hardships, that he's really a legitimate source, a legitimate source to listen to? Like, I don't know what to really say about that, but you also have to realize something about it, okay? People might simply say something like, and this is the most common concept people, Christians say about the issue of, about the issue and why they believe that there's 100% proof Revelations is true, and this proves why the Christian God, is the true God. But the problem, is that they say that a lot of the ideas that they've come up with in there is so advanced, it would have blown the mind of ancient man, which I personally don't really believe is the case. Because what does the book of Revelations mentions? It mentions several ideas, several ideas that have been around for centuries, okay? Such as the idea of one person ruling the entire planet. We had Alexander the Great who used to boast about that idea. He tried to do it. The Romans tried to do it. Genghis Khan, who just a few centuries before tried to do the same thing. The idea of a person ruling the world, it not only has it been around for the longest time, and there's been some serious attempts at it, it's just obvious common sense anybody could come up with. Why can't I rule the entire planet? Like, it would benefit me as a whole. Okay? So that concept has already been there. That concept has already been there. Another concept that has been around there is the idea of it says in the book of Revelations that all of the stars in the sky will fall down. Well, all of the stars in the sky will fall down. That's another concept that which apparently which they interpret as missiles. All the missiles being shot at once. But you have to realize that's also another concept that has been around for the longest time. There have been some really powerful artillery that has existed in the past that could have had some real devastating stuff, that has done some real devastating stuff to some places. There are some that, because as it claimed, it's stars, and what are stars? They're hot. Okay, and simply put it, these artillery, they would go into a place and In some cases, depending on how bad it was, they would literally set a whole place on fire, just like one. And the last concept is the concept of rotating machinery. Is that also another idea? That's also another idea it mentioned, and people say there's no way ancient man could have thought of those ideas. But do you really believe so? The idea of a clock was invented by somebody was invented by some Arabic scholar or something, and during the time of the Crusades. But so these concepts, to be honest with you, are not something that are out of the range of human beings centuries ago to understand. Okay? It's just like people of today. There's many, all these people, I believe these people did, is they use trickery, they use a lot of words that we could not understand. Nobody of today can really understand the Bible. Even if someone claims that they can understand it, it's just their interpretation. And that's the point along with it. If you want to scam people, and if you want things to go exactly your way and not for people to understand the truth, you could just simply write a lot of their ideas. Because a lot of these ideas might have been beyond their concept. But at the same time, is it possible they could have predicted, obviously, that technology in the future would have been a lot better than today? Just like people of today, people, like, I'll just use me as an example. I could easily imagine that in the future there will be there'll be spaceships that will be able to go to that will be able to go to another planet, but at the same time will be able to go to another planet in the span of possibly a couple of hours or something. Of possibly a couple of hours or something. Or I could come up with the idea, maybe it's possible there could be something in the there could be an idea in the future. There could be a galactic empire or something that that to keep order in the universe, to keep order in the galaxy, they have a system, a system of smartphones that maybe comes from that comes from a lot of the material we might use today, space quality material that to them in the future will just be something you could get at like the dollar store or something, that you could pay your taxes on smartphones all spread out throughout the galaxy on different planets, on different planets. You see, I can come up with those concepts. People can can just make assumptions in advance before of what's going to happen, and also to make sure that they're not wrong, just simply lie and just simply mix up the words so nobody can understand it. You can't tell me that people cannot predict the future. What I'm trying to say is that I'm sure they predicted a lot of the things, and they planned some of the things today, but could they have predicted it would go as far as it has? Probably not. And also the other issue with the ideas, it seems like to be a real setup, man. Because it takes advantage of people's natural philosophical abilities, okay? Because most people in this world are wondering, realize that they have a life. They have the ability, they have a consciousness. They have the ability to experience things. And they're wondering, and every kid probably wonders this, what, where did we come from? Has humanity existed for eternity? No, it must have, and who also created all of the other things surrounding around us? It was not human beings. Human beings cannot create life, so there has to be this greater force. And because there's this greater force, and, he has given people the ability, you know, and he has given the people the ability to know right from wrong, you know, and and there's been a lot of people in this world who've been very evil for the longest period of time, and I've been a very good person, and it seems that their lives are going perfectly fine. Could I imagine that if I die, I will have a very pleasant afterlife, and they take advantage of that. So you don't do anything. So you just sit back there. You sit back there and say, "Oh yeah, I'll go to heaven. You know, if I just don't do anything about it." Like, plain and simple, man. All people need to do is they just need to simply do something about these fucking evil people, and that's the end of my video.